Most people in the UK are dangerously underprepared for retirement, leaving a bleak future ahead for them and their families. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how much you should have in your pension at every age. Get this right and you could be looking at hundreds of thousands of pounds more in your pension pot. Get it wrong and unfortunately, things won't be so rosy. Before we dive into the targets, let's look at where most people actually stand. According to the latest Office for National Statistics data, the average person's wealth looks dramatically different across different age groups. Those aged between 25 and 34 have an average of just £18,800 in pension savings, whilst those between 35 and 44 have £39,500. It then peaks up to £145,900 for those aged between 65 and 74. But now here's the problem. These averages include people with generous final salary pensions that younger generations simply will never have. The gender pension gap is brutal also. Men aged between 45 to 54 have an average of £108,100 in pension wealth, whilst women of the same age have a mere £57,900. This isn't just unfair, it's a ticking time bomb for millions of women heading towards retirement poverty. The Pensions and Lifetime Savings Association has created 3 retirement lifestyle benchmarks that every saver should know. These figures were updated in 2025, and I'm sure that the figures might shock some of you. For a single person, you need £13,400 per year for a minimum retirement. That covers basic needs such as some money left for fun, like eating out once a month and a UK holiday. Then a moderate retirement requires £31,700 annually, allowing for European holidays and more financial flexibility. Then for a comfortable retirement with regular theatre trips and luxury holidays, you need £43,900 per year. These figures do assume that you own your own home, mortgage-free in retirement. And if you're still renting or paying mortgages, you need considerably more. Here's the thing, to generate a comfortable retirement income of £43,900, you need a pension pot between 540k and 800k. That is a massive target that requires some serious financial planning. The most widely used rule in pension planning is really simple. You take the age when you started saving for retirement and then divide that by 2. And that's the percentage of your salary that you should be saving in your pension for life. So with this in mind, if you start saving at 20, that's fantastic. You need to contribute around 10% of your salary. Started at 30, you need 15%. Waited until you're 40, now you're looking at around 20% of your salary going into your pension. This isn't just theory, it's based on decades of professional calculations. If you're earning the UK median full-time salary of £39,039 and you started at age 24, you should be putting around 12% at around £390 per month. That includes both your contributions and your employer's. Financial services giant Fidelity has also developed another powerful framework. This is salary multiples by age. This gives you clear targets to hit at each decade of your life. By age 30, you should have around 1 times your annual salary saved. On a 50k salary, that's 50k in your pension pot. By 40, you need 3 times your salary, £150,000 on the same income. At 50, you require 6 times your salary, and then by the time you're 60, you require 8 times your annual salary tucked away into your pension pot. These targets assume that you want to maintain your current lifestyle in retirement. If you are behind, don't panic, but please do act fast. Every year you delay makes this mountain steeper to climb. Now we've discussed this, let me break down exactly where you should be at each stage of your life, combining all of the expert guidance into practical targets. Now, in your 20s, focus on building a habit. Even £200 or £300 monthly makes a massive difference thanks to compound growth. Target at least 10 to 12% of your salary if you're starting early. Then at 30, you should have roughly 1 year's salary saved. On £40,000, that's £40,000 in your pension pot. At 40, 3 times your annual salary is the gold standard. And in £50,000, you need £150,000 saved. And you should be contributing around 20% of your salary by now if you've only just started. At 50, 6 times your salary salary becomes a target, and this is where catch-up contributions become critical. Many people in their 50s also increase their contributions significantly as their children start to leave home and their mortgage payments shrink. At 60, 8 times your salary puts you in a good shape for retirement. At this point, you should be fine-tuning your withdrawal strategies rather than panic saving. Don't forget the state pension in your calculations. It's worth up to around £11,975 per year in 2025-2026, but only if you have 35 years of full national insurance records. For many people, this does cover the minimum retirement standards for couples, but it does fall well short for singles or for anyone wanting more than basic comfort. The state pension age is also rising. It's already 66 and it will hit 67 between 2026 and 2028. Don't assume you can start claiming it at 65 like previous generations. Also, if you're a few years short on your national insurance contributions, please look into considering whether it's actually worthwhile backdating and plugging these gaps. Now, if you're behind on any of these targets, here are your options. First, maximize employer matching. This is free money that you cannot afford to miss. Second, use carry forward rules for additional contributions if you're a high earner. The annual allowance is £60,000, but you can potentially also use unused allowances for the previous 3 tax years. Third, consider sacrificing your salary for pension contributions to reduce both your income tax and your national insurance contributions. On higher salaries, this can save you significant amounts of tax. Now, here is why starting early matters so much. Someone contributing £300 a month from age 25 to 65 at 8% return, which is the high-end pension projection percentage, ends up with £1 million, as you can see on screen now. If you wait 10 years later and start at 35, you have nearly £600,000 less for that 10-year delay. That's not just the power of compound interest, it's the penalty for procrastination. Every month you delay costs you thousands in future wealth. Once you've built your pension pot using the strategies above, you'll also need to make sure that it lasts throughout retirement. This is where the 4% rule comes into play, a time-tested principle for sustainable pension withdrawals. The rule is very simple. Withdraw just 4% of your pension pot in the first year of retirement, then take the same cash amount adjusted for inflation each year after. So a £500,000 pot would give you £20,000 in year 1. Then £20,000, 400 in year 2 if inflation runs at 2%, and so on. This approach, based on decades of market data analysis, has historically sustained retirement income for 30-year periods through various economic conditions. However, more recently, UK-specific research suggests that 3 to 3.5% might be more realistic for British retirees, reflecting different market conditions and lower expected returns. Now, the contrast with reality is sobering. FCA data shows that 45% of pension pots are being withdrawn at 8% or higher per year, more than double the safe rate. This risks people running out of money entirely, particularly dangerous given increasing life expectancies. Use the 4% rule as your baseline, but remember it's just a starting point, it's not gospel. Review annually and adjust based on market performance and your changing needs. The goal shouldn't be to die with the most money, but it's to ensure that your money doesn't die before you do. Very sobering, I know. If you're in your 20s, start now with whatever you can afford to do and increase your contributions with every pay rise. Aim for at least 10 to 12% of your salary in total. In your 30s, do a pension audit, consolidate your old pots, check that you're hitting the salary multiple targets, and increase your contributions if you're behind. If you're in your 40s, you're at crunch time. If you're not 3 times your salary, you need to seriously boost your contributions. Consider reducing other expenses or using bonuses for increasing those pension top-ups. In your 50s and beyond, maximize every allowance that you have available. Consider reducing working hours gradually rather than stopping completely if your pension isn't quite ready for retirement. The more you save today, the better your tomorrow will be. Start now, increase regularly, and let compound interest do the heavy lifting for you. If this breakdown has motivated you to take action with your pension, make sure you're also prepared for the upcoming UK pension changes by watching my video on the UK's biggest pension shake-up in decades here. Also, don't forget to maximise employer matching. It's the closest thing to free money you'll ever find.